Hey guys, how's everyone? I pray everybody's doing well. I'm sitting out here with my peanut for a minute, and a subject came across my mind because I have a few friends who are dating coaches, and had some other things and questions going on in some other areas, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna jump a subject over into my own group for a minute, and since my eyes are tired because I've been reading the bulk of the day, come on, Peanut, going through several different studies at the same time, and so my eyes are really tired. I didn't feel like typing it, so I do appreciate the Facebook Live. So I'm gonna start this conversation here, and I'd love to get y'all input on it as you can get in here for it. Let me see if I can set this up here and prop it. Yay, there we go. Got on my Wake, Pray, and Slay shirt from the She Experience. So, here's the subject. Dating. The old-fashioned way. My eyes are tired, with glasses or without them. I'll refresh here in a little bit. But anywho, dating the old-fashioned way. My question to you as ladies, especially those of you who do actually date. I know I look exhausted. I just had the wonderful world's best bath. Once I put my makeup on, I'll look more awake. Hi, Pastor Crystal. I saw you pop in. I appreciate that. I'm glad that you're here. I'm hoping that others will join in. But I want to really kind of center this discussion around those who are dating, believing God for a mate. You saw the post that I shared about the flower doesn't pray for the bee. It just blossoms and then the bee comes. Okay, that's great. That's wonderful and all of that. But what I wanted to ask you ladies about is, and this is a girl conversation or an adult conversation, is what happened to the old-fashioned way. I am a old-fashioned girl. I'm young, but I'm old-fashioned. And I don't plan on changing that. You know, I don't believe God wants me to change it. I'm happy with my value system. My core value system is very traditional. And what I mean by that is that I don't believe that I'm supposed to pursue. I'm to be pursued in an old-fashioned way. That's why you saw my post earlier address the whole inbox thing. Yes, Pastor Crystal, that's what I'm trying to get people to understand. I believe it works. I really do. Granted, it may take longer than what single women want it to take. But I honestly do believe that if we just focus on God, if we give God our all, that He's going to do just like that flower said. I appreciate y'all for joining in. So here's what prompted this. I had a conversation earlier. And in the conversation that I had earlier, I shared with someone I have gatekeepers. And believe it or not, they're not my children. They think they are, but they're not. Hey, Chiquita, glad to see you on here. My kids think they're my gatekeepers. They're not. They just try to block. It's cute. But I do have gatekeepers. And what do I mean by gatekeepers? If my dad was living, okay? If my dad was living, he would be my gatekeeper. Even though I'm going on 50, my dad would still be my gatekeeper. And what do I mean by that? When I was younger, every guy who showed any interest in me, I ran it past my dad. I ran every last one past my dad. The guys didn't even know it. They wrote me love letters. I took the love letters to my dad. My dad and I had a very great relationship. That's why it was so, I was able to make the transition from daddy's girl to God's girl. Because we had that transition. He wasn't my buddy where I disrespected him. I had never had any disrespect for him. I honored him as my dad, as my father figure. I trusted in his word. Because I trusted in his word, whatever he said, I didn't even question it. If my daddy said, fat meat was greasy, you'd have to prove it to me. My daddy said it. It was kind of like the water boy and his mama said. And, but his word never failed me. He never broke a promise to me. He never said anything to me that, made me think that I couldn't do that. And so, yes, Lord. Yes, Chiquita, you sure are a gatekeeper. Even with me, Chiquita is becoming a part of my gatekeeping system. But I have, I have gatekeepers in place. And what I mean by that, again, I'm going to go back to my dad being a gatekeeper. So there was a guy, several guys, who was interested in me. They would say certain things. When they would say certain things to me, I would take that conversation back to my daddy. I would be so flattered. I would be just like, oh, so-and-so wrote me this letter. He said this. My dad could read between the lines like it wasn't nothing, baby. All he wanted is the draws. Actually, his exact words was, he just want the panties. Let that one go. I didn't even look back. I didn't look twice. I didn't think. I didn't question it. If my daddy said it, he was a man. He knew how men thought. So I trusted it. And then I had best friends in life who were also men. And so between, at the time growing up, my gatekeepers were my dad, my best friend who was a guy, Anthony Patrick. Between Anthony, him, my brothers, they were the gatekeepers who would let me know, hey, he ain't no good. He's this or he's that. And they actually taught me to think like a man thinks. They actually taught me to interpret certain things, to realize when certain things was being said and stuff. So you couldn't get over on me just like that. Now here I am, single again. Never thought I would be. I'm married for life, expected to stay married for life. Never thought I would ever be back in the dating game. And I really don't even want to call it a dating game, because I don't date like that. But at the same time, in order to have what God says I'm going to have, that's a part of the process of getting to know somebody. So for me, I'm old-fashioned, so I believe in courting. And what I mean by courting, in old-fashioned way, if my dad was living, for a man to come to me, they'd have to meet my dad. My dad would have to sign off on them and say, that's somebody that go ahead, go on that date with them. It's all right, it's all good. Now, granted, at the age of 50, I probably wouldn't tell them that you got to go get my dad's approval, but I would still set it up where they have to meet them in order to go on the date with them. And then I would get that conversation with my dad where he would let me know, oh, I don't know about that one. I felt, something about that one was shifty. And I would trust that. So my dad is not in place anymore. Since my natural biological dad is not in place, I have a spiritual brother that I call my twin. That's one of my gatekeepers. I have a spiritual father. That's my pastor. That's one of my gatekeepers. So, between these gatekeepers and the ones who intercede for me, who know me, my besties, and I don't have a whole bunch of those, but they know me, know what I've been through, walked through, seen all of that. These people are part of my gatekeepers. No, I'm not 50. I said almost 50, didn't I? I thought I said I was almost 50. I'm 49. And, but I'm impressed. I'm seeing this without my glasses. And so I have gatekeepers, my intercessors, gatekeepers. And yes, my adult children are, somewhat in there as well. But these individuals, when I refer to gatekeepers, I'm referring to the ones who now have to actually, to get to me, you got to come through the gatekeeper. Am I the only one that still believes that you're supposed to have a gatekeeper? Because somebody told me today that's too old-fashioned. Ain't no real man gonna appreciate that. He's gonna feel. How did they put that? They put it that he was going to feel like he had to go through an obstacle course type of thing to get to me. And I said to myself, interesting, because there was a day when men recognized the value of a woman based on how hard it was to get to her. Okay, thank you. So that's a young, what generation are you, Marcia? You're in your 30s. Okay, it's not old-fashioned. Thank you. And so when somebody said that to me today, I thought to myself, for real? For real? And they were like, you're a little too old-fashioned. You're worth it. Exactly. So good. You have yours. Thank you. So that old-fashioned way, now granted, I use the word gatekeeper, but that old-fashioned way, I believe, still works, because to me, my gatekeepers cover my blind side. Because it's easy, and I really want to address this to singles, it's easy to get caught up in the flattery of the attention, It's easy to get caught up in the flattery of somebody is pursuing you. It's easy to get caught up in the vanity of the words and being said certain things that's pricking your flesh and your heart and your emotions and all that stuff. So you need somebody to cover the blind side. Okay, now I can't see that. Plans fail without counsel. Yes. Exactly. Not old-fashioned at all. Because I'm so amazed, I need to ensure the people who know my worth can help me identify a counterfeit. Thank you, Chiquita. Exactly. And so all of that, I love that. So that's why I was like, I'm wondering, what do people consider old-fashioned? Because now what they're calling old-fashioned is not old-fashioned. It's just the right way, period. And what I mean by that, they think old-fashioned is if you go on 10 dates before you have sex, that makes you old-fashioned. No, not having sex until your wedding night, that's how it's supposed to be, number one. Having that value system in place and just certain things. So even if it is old-fashioned, that's fine with me. At this point, I don't even care. Call me an old-fashioned girl. Call me that. I'll take that label. I'll wear it. Certain things I think we need to bring back and not be ashamed of, and not run from it, and not be embarrassed by your old-fashioned values. So do I tell a man up front that I'm celibate? Absolutely. Number one, I do it just so it will run them off. I'm not even gonna lie. I'll say it just so it'll make them run packing. And certain things like that. So I'm just like, I guess I wanted to, spark this conversation to see what other old-fashioned things that you feel that we need to bring back. Because yes, with the gatekeeper is one. Gatekeepers are one. I believe in that. Before I'll go somewhere with a man, my gatekeeper gonna know that person's face, will have talked to them, will have had a conversation with them before I even go out on a date with you. That's number one. If I come up missing, they're going to be able to identify you. But not only that, I believe it puts a level of respect, in that man for who you are, and knowing that he can't just mess over you, because if he does, he got Big Brother to answer to, or he's got Big Daddy to answer to, or he's got somebody else who's in authority that's covering your life, that's watching for your life. So with that, I feel like younger women need to get back into allowing your gatekeepers to be the gatekeepers in your life. If it's a spiritual father figure, if it's a spiritual brother, if it's a natural brother, whatnot, but somebody who lets that man know that if you mess over her, you're going to have to answer to me. Bottom line. Because when you go back in the Bible times, before, even when you go back to Isaac and Rebekah, which is probably my most favorite story, and Isaac and Rebekah, when the servant went to find Isaac a wife, he went through her gatekeepers. He went through her gatekeepers. He talked to her dad and her brother before he got permission to take her back. He didn't just pursue her and then walk off and she gets so flattered and tell them, I'm out of here. She took him back to her gatekeepers. She had a covering before she had a covering. And so, if you don't have that, I truly pray that you do have it and get that in place, and don't be embarrassed by it and don't be ashamed of it. But put those things in place. And I mentioned something last night, even if sexual sins are a weakness for you, and that you get in certain places, then don't date singly. Don't date by yourself. Don't put yourself in that position. Don't do the Netflix and chill. Date in a group, date in a crowd, do stuff with a group, do stuff with family, do stuff with friends. That's courting. And, and I know this generation thinks, well, you can't build intimacy like that. You can't, but yes, you can. You can have conversations over the phone. You can have in-depth conversations that's going to bring about that into me you see, because that's all you need to see right now is into my mind and into my heart. You don't get to see into anything else until you put a name change on it. Forget a ring on it. Yep, I said forget a ring on it, because I feel like after Beyonce's song, when everybody got into if you like it, then you better put a ring on it, men started trying to just shut the women up by putting a ring on it with indefinite engagement dates. Not planning on getting married, just wanted to shut them up by putting a ring on it. And so I'm like, no, if you like it, put your name on it. Change the name. Don't just put a ring on it. All you do when you put a ring on it, can I be, let me get the right word so I don't offend anybody. Help me, Holy Spirit. Peanut marks his territory. That's it. Don't just let a man mark territory on you to run everybody else away, and he's not intending on really making you his wife. If he like it, put his name on it. Putting a ring on it is marking his territory, and then he out doing whatever else he want to do. So don't let him just be engaged to you indefinitely. Don't let him just, you know, do certain things. And so all of that was going through my head. And I didn't want to jump in somebody else's group and take over a conversation. I didn't want to be rude over there. I was like, no, I got my own group of sisters. Let me go on over here and have this conversation with them, because I still believe in the old time way. I'm that one standing in the gate, like it says in Jeremiah. I'm the one standing in the streets crying out for the old time way. I am. I realize it. I want slips back. I want women to wear foundation garments again. I want to stop seeing your Spanx through your clothes. I want to stop seeing your underwear through your clothes. I'm old fashioned. I want to be able to, I want you to be able to do that, not just because I don't want to see it. I don't want the men to see it and be thinking other things for you. I just want you to be able to have those old fashioned values. I thank God that I remember a time I was so, upset over how my mom was raising me. I was real offended by it. But now I can say I thank God I was brought up on the edge of that old time way, and I love it. I absolutely love it. So I like that. I like the fact that gatekeepers got to get permission to pursue. They got to get permission to date you, to take you out. I like the fact that they have to work to realize that if anything worth having is worth, working for. I like that. So I guess I just wanted to jump in here and see what everybody else was saying. So what are some old-fashioned things in dating that you feel that we as women have let go to the side that we need to bring back? That's really what I got in here to have. That was the conversation that I jumped in here to have. Was what were some old-fashioned things that you feel that we've let go of that we need to bring back when it comes to dating? Because I think if we go back to some of those things, we'll have less heartache and heartbreak. Not only that, those marriages lasted 50 years and 60 years and 70 years. We got this new age mess and it don't last no time. Let that marinate. So that's really what I wanted to talk about and jump in here and say. I'm not going to hold y'all hostage. I'm going to eat something. I've got to get up, got to hurry up and get to another appointment. So I got to eat and throw my face on. But y'all can continue this conversation by all means afterwards. You're more than welcome to jump in there and add some more value. The Bible said, let the older women teach the young. Those who are older than me, by all means, those who are my age, whatever you got, you've been taught by, you've had access to a big mama, to a big auntie, to a Medea, to a, mother dear, a grandmother, a granny, a mama, a mother, whoever it was that put some values in you, a big daddy, a big papa, a father figure, somebody who put some values in you when it came down to dating. Those of you who are married and you've made it through the tests and the trials and the storms and you're still standing, share with us who are single so that we don't mess up our single. Because I keep telling them, if you don't do single right, you'll repeat it, even if you get married. So, let's single right. Yes, I made single a verb. Let's single right so that when God brings the next one around, we're doing it right. And we do that by iron sharpening iron. And that's what a group like this is for. It's all women, so we can have real conversations. Real conversations. Amen? So, this is one of them. Y'all take it from here and jump in there and throw some other things out. Appreciate y'all for indulging me. Okay? I'm going to get off of here and fix me something to eat.